deadlock. Yes, that means we use a figure to model the relationship about resource and process. Okay. For example, in figure A, this is the circle. Circle represents a process A. A rectangle denotes a resource. Okay. Now, this arrow is from the resource to a process, so it means that process A now has resource R. Okay. Process A gets resource R. In figure B, this is process B and the resource S. We can see that the arrow is from process B to resource S. It means process B require or request resource S. Okay, so the difference between figure A and figure B is just the direction of the line. Okay, direction. The first one from a resource to a process. The second one from a process to a resource. Different meaning. The first one means the process has the resource. The second one means the process doesn't have a resource, but it requires this resource. Okay. So just to focus the third one. The third one, we can see that there are two processes, process C and process D. Yes, and two resources, resource T and resource U. Okay. Then the relationship. These lines consist of a circle. Okay. A circle means there is a deadlock. Yes, because we can see that process B now has
the
resource T. Okay, but process C requires resource T. Okay, process B requires, but this resource is held by the other process B. Okay, and then we also see that process C held resource U, but process D requires process U. Okay, so we will find that non-process can finish this task. Yes. So there is a deadlock. This figure is simple because there are only two processes and only two resources. Okay, so maybe the relationship can be complex. For example, in this example, there are three processes: process A, process B, process C. Yes, and the three resources R, S, and T. Okay, three processes and three resources. Yes. So we can see that process A requests R and S. It means only process A gets both R and S. Process A can continue to finish its task. Yes, and process B also requires two resources, that is S and T. Yes, process C requires T and R. Okay, that means that each process requires two resources. Only this process gets these two resources, it can finish the task. Okay, so there are many cases. For example, maybe we first allocate R to process A. Yes, Now, from this figure, we can see that process A gets R, okay? And then we allocate S to process B. So process B gets S, yes? And then we allocate T to process C. So process C gets T, okay? In this figure, each process gets a resource, okay? But we have stressed that if the process wants to finish the task, it must have the two resources, yes? So in the following, process A requests S, yes, request S, and then we will find that S is held by process B, okay? So just request, but process A can't get S, yes, because it is held by process B. And then process B also wants to finish its task, so it requests T, okay? Process C also wants to finish the task, so it requests R. Focus on this figure. I think you will find that there is a circle, okay? Directed circle. For example, from R to A, to S, to B, to T, to C, and then return back to R. There is a circle. And now no process can finish its task because each process only gets one resource, and the other resource is held by another process, okay? So this is a deadlock. But maybe if we allocate resources in another way, maybe no deadlock. For example, we first allocate R to A, so A got R, yes, process A, and then we allocate T to process C, and process C gets T. Then process A wants to finish its task, so process A gets S. We allocate S to process A. Focus on this figure. We will find that process A gets the resources required, yes, both R and S, okay? Now?
I want to see the previous slide. There in the number 4, A requests
Number
S.
4?
Yeah.
Which figure?
B figure.
Okay.
In the 4th.
The first one means A request R.
No, in the 4th. The 4th one. Yeah.
A request S.
Yeah. But in the next slide, maybe direction will be from S to A, but there A to S.
This is the first step, yes. A request S. Okay. This figure shows the first step. A request S.
The code A request S, right?
Yes.
Okay, nice. But in this
This means now you will find that S is held by B, so it is only request and B gets. If for this one, A request R, but R now is ready, so just A gets R. The arrow is from R to A. Okay? Is there any problem? Okay, continue. Now, if process C wants to finish the task, process C must hold T and R. Okay, so process C requests R. Because R is held by A, so only request. If R is ready, C can get, but not it can get R. Okay, because R is held by A. Focus on this one. On this one, we can find that process A now gets both R and S. Yes, so process A can finish its task, and then just release the resources. Yes, so process R release process A release R. Yes, and then release S. Okay, release R, release S. Because process A had released the R, so R is ready. So process C can get R. Yes. So now the relation has changed. From R to C. Is there any problem? Okay. Then process A release S, and now we can find that process C has got both T and R. Yes. So process C can finish its task and then release T and R. Okay. So, if process C release T and R, so we will find that R, S, and T are already. Then we can allocate the resource to process B, and process B can get 2 resources and finish its task, and then release the resources. So there is no deadlock. Okay?
There is no cycle.
Yes, there is no deadlock. So this figure just tells us if there are many multiple processes and multiple resources. Maybe sometimes there will be deadlock. Maybe sometimes there will be no deadlock. Yes. Yes. Okay. If deadlock occurs, there are some strategies to deal with deadlocks. The first one is just ignore the problem. Okay, just as we see nothing. Okay, nothing has happened. Just ignore the problem. The second strategy is to detection and recovery. This is the first one is negative, but the second one is positive. Okay, because we do something to deal with it. Okay, we detect the deadlock and let's take some actions. The third one is pre-processing. Yes. These two ones the second one is to take actions when the deadlock occurs. Yes. But the third one is pre-processing. That means we do something to avoid the deadlock. Okay. For example, care for allocation. Yes. In this example, there is a care for allocation and no deadlock. Pre-processing. Okay. The third one is pre-processing. The first one is prevention. That's the structurally negating one of the four required conditions. We have learned that if a deadlock occurs, there are four conditions. Yes. If we prevent one condition to occur, then we can avoid the deadlock. Okay. Okay, let's have a